Yes, she
Actually, we do
is.
have another podcast coming up
Good.
in a couple weeks. We got invited to Almost Heaven, Almost Us. Lauren and I will be speaking. It's in Morgantown, I think the second week of November. So we're going to be on a podcast about healthy living. So that'll be fun. Yes,
Yeah.
and they talk a lot about pepperoni rolls. I've seen that on their podcast. So I'm gonna have to take some local pepperoni rolls with me to Almost Heaven, Almost Us. It's a husband and wife, and they talk
Yeah.
things in West Virginia. So that's gonna be great. I'm sorry, that's a little off topic. And
No, that's okay. You should do either an entry to that podcast. I think an entry would be good of just you and Lauren like in the kitchen making the pepperoni rolls for fun and then take those to your podcast.
oh, that
Oh, yes.
yeah. We should do that. I'll have to tell Laura. That'll be cute. So I thought about stopping at all the shops here in Buchanan and taking pepperoni rolls so that they can try them.
Yeah, that would be
That would
fun.
be
Yeah.
perfect.
And
But we'll take.
meanwhile, Candy and I are going, we almost named our tiniest little baby team because all of our team names are about West Virginia or like,
Yeah.
intertwined somehow. We try to keep West Virginia, pride active.
Right.
And so we really toyed around with the fact that we could name them the pepperoni rollers.
Did
I love
Carter
it.
come up with that?
I think
I
it
love
was your son Carter, yeah.
Oh,
But we thought everybody hated it. I loved it.
Oh,
oh.
Everybody
it's
else
fun.
hated it. Yeah.
So
All
cute.
right, ladies. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So, first of all, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Lunch with MSCA. Whether you're driving in your car or sitting at your desk during your planning period, eating lunch, or on your midday walk, we are so glad you could join us today. We did miss last week because of a field trip and just some scheduling chaos, but we're back here today, fired up and ready to go with our episode. As always, I'm here with Coach Candy and a very special guest who I'll introduce here in just a moment. Today, we are diving into a couple of our fired up values, determination as well as excellence, since we missed last week, because both of those we feel like go hand in hand.
All right. When we talk about excellence, it is easy to think about trophies, medals, or big wins, but true excellence, it is built in everyday moments. It's athletes striving for skills beyond their limits, like pushing past fears to land their first tucks, their first fulls, or to perfect that stunt. We always know how it is to perfect that first stunt, especially when we are trying to, get ready for this first performance. It is like you better be hitting it, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like you better be like getting it because it's like
It's go time, show time.
it is go time, show time, or sit down time, or you're gonna be conditioned time. Anyways, it's understanding that excellence is a daily choice, not just one time victory. It's showing up, working hard, and staying consistent even when no one's watching. It's always about community pride. Our small businesses, our teachers, our neighbors right here in West Virginia who are pushing standards higher every single day. It's about building healthy habits, setting goals, and measuring our progress, whether it's fitness, which I really need to start focusing on, and finances, on how much intentional time that we spend with our family. Excellence doesn't happen by accident. It happens by effort, focus, and heart. One thing I wanted to ask you was, what's one example of a time you've pushed through something hard and came out stronger?
Is
Is
that for
this for
me or for
me or is
Tracy?
this for Taylor?
That's for Taylor. This is for
Oh,
Yeah.
for
Taylor.
me, I mean, I feel like I've been pushing every day. Every day in life something comes up. Whether it was yesterday, the last 2 days, Adelaide stayed home sick, and working at home with a sick child is not the easiest. But like my job never stops, whether that's my real paying job, I call it my real job, the one that pays the bills at home, my research job, or if it's gearing up for this showcase and getting ready for the gym. And, I had flower orders come in. And so I'm just
Right.
managing all of these like I'm multitasking every day of my life. And every day it feels like something unexpected is thrown into that. So it's just how, I try to manage my time efficiently. I take a step back, reprioritize. Like, obviously, my daughter's going to come first, but at the same time, I still have, these three things I have to get done today, no matter what. So being open to changing the plan when needed, but also, just prioritizing and really focusing on what I need to get done for the day. Um, so I know that's not a good, not the best example, but that's just one that comes off like the top of my head because literally yesterday I was ready for her to go back to school on day 2. And she did go back to school today. She is feeling a little bit better. But yeah, I had a lot that I needed to get done and I didn't get everything done I wanted to accomplish yesterday. Some of it rolled into today and that's just how it is. So, and I would say that that goes right into my next topic of determination, which is here at Mountain State, we see this value come alive like every day or every week at least. When an athlete finally hits their front walkover for the first time or nails their first pass or a skill that they've been chasing for months, just recognizing that that's not luck. It's just determination, it's perseverance, it's hard work. And so also determination is showing up every day in family, in life, in work, in parenting, on the floor of cheerleading, even when it's hard, even when, schedules are packed, even when we feel overwhelmed, and even when we're running on coffee and chaos, it's showing up and making sure that you put one foot in front of the others. So here in West Virginia, we know a thing or two about determination. We're always here. We've always been a little bit of an underdog state, but we've got grit. We've got heart. We have this never quit like mentality. And so we just keep clawing to fight and climb higher and higher every day. And that's something that I really like to embrace in my own life. Determination, I think, looks like just keeping a forward momentum, keeping that forward direction, even on the toughest days. So, yeah, and at this point, I'd like to introduce Miss Christy, who is our guest today. And she is someone who has truly lived out both excellence and determination through her faith, through her business, through her leadership, and through this community. Christy Tenney is a lifelong resident of Upshur County, where she was born and raised, and continues to call home. Since 2012, she has owned and operated Top Line Apparel, which is a successful graphic design and custom apparel company that serves local businesses, schools, and organizations. Christy has proudly served as the Upshur County Commissioner for 2 terms now, beginning her 2nd term this past year. She is passionate about strengthening her community, working to foster economic growth, support families, and promote health and wellness for all ages. Christy and her husband, JP Tenney, have been married for 30 years. JP is a longtime coach, educator, and proud U.S. Air Force veteran, currently serving as the principal at Elkins Mountain School. Their shared love for sports and mentorship runs really deep. Both of their children, Julie and Brandon, were college athletes. Julie and her husband, Logan, have 4 children: Lazarus, Lillian.
Lazarus.
Thank you. We even practiced it. I'm sorry, Julie. Forgive me. Lillian, Ezekiel, and Liberty, while Brandon and his wife Erica have 2, Evelyn and Warren. A devoted follower of Christ, Christy serves to lead with faith, integrity, and compassion in all that she does. She's a coach's wife, a mother, a former college athletes, and a champion for the people here in Upshur County, working to make it, not just a place to live, but a place to truly thrive. So let's welcome Christy.
Taylor, this is lighting weird probably behind me. I should have turned that off maybe, huh? Is it too
That's
bright?
okay. I have weird lighting too, so it's perfect.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me here today. You both are doing such a great job here in Upshur County, and thank you for helping all these young athletes with their determination. and their grit. And it will truly make a difference in their lives as they grow up and have their own families. And you're going to see that continue to grow. So thanks for planting those seeds in these young athletes here in Upshur County.
Yes, we're doing the best we possibly can. And we really love what we do. So I think when you love what you do, it's less of like a job or something that you're doing. It's just like a way of life. And so I
Right.
think that that's just for me at least. I don't want to speak for Coach Kenny, but it's truly just what I enjoy doing. And it's not like I dread going to the gym. I mean, some days, you have your days, but really, it puts me in such a good mood to walk into that building and know I'm getting ready to work with young kiddos and athletes and people who are there showing up wanting to get better. Um, that's a really cool thing to do. So, yeah. Um, Christy, you wear so many hats, between being a business owner, being a leader, being a mom, now a grandmother, the coach's wife. We talked about all these hats you wear. So when you look back at determination, what does determination mean to you? What does it look like in different roles, and how do you navigate determination between all of those?
Well, I think really Candy and you touched on my beliefs as well as far as determination. It's really showing up when everyone, all those around you are sleeping, right? And so I have multiple examples of my family doing that throughout the years where, Brandon, as young as being wanting to be a Mason Dixon champion in wrestling in middle school. And he would wake up in the mornings and do P90X. And I would do that with him to just encourage him because I was so encouraged that that's what his goal was. And so he was doing that when everyone else was still in bed. And it's mental, I think, more than anything. Not only are you showing up when others aren't working, but it's a mental thing as well, especially into cheerleading. And Julie, into her years, she not only cheered, but was a softball player and was a college athlete in softball. And so she really was a better cheerleader than she was softball. She would share that with you as well. And we said to her, it'd be an easier route to just push into cheerleading. And so she enjoyed it, but she found that cheerleading really helped her in softball, helped her jump higher to get those balls that she wanted to get. It really complemented each other in her mind. So she stuck with both of them. But after cheerleading, she would get up in the mornings and she would pitch and hit before school. Her and Brandon would go on that field before school, and I'd sit there with them until school started while they were working. And the same thing at night after cheer games. Used to be, things have changed, but I know Taylor and Candy can attest to this. After basketball games, you went and you traveled to all the games, both away and home. I think that has since changed, but we had an industrial spotlight and we would set that up in the yard at nights, and she would come home and she would hit and pitch. And I'd sit out there with her just to keep her company while she worked. And so really, I got to see that live out with our own children. I was blessed to do that and see their hard work and determination when others weren't working. And really, I think it all goes back to mental. Candy touched on this earlier as well. Just Julie falling at one point on the gym floor in a tuck and being scared. And my husband and I, JP, went up to that gym and waited until the basketball game was done and waited till everybody was gone and sat there and waited until she would throw the tuck and encouraged her to do that so she could get over that fear, so she mentally could move forward. So cheerleading has a lot of mental, and you guys are really dealing a lot with that on day-to-day tumbling and what those girls believe in.
It is a lot of
A long
mental.
answer, right?
No, it's perfect. And I mean, I don't know if you know like the influence and just presence that you and your family carry with you when you go places. But obviously, Julie was my teammate, and so I knew you all through cheerleading, but also my brother wrestled for JP. My goodness, I don't know when Seth would have started with JP, but he started wrestling in elementary school or right into middle school. And I think he was with JP like all through until he graduated. And then Seth also wrestled in college for a year.
Yes.
And just the determination, yes, but also you definitely have a standard of excellence and expectations among your family that like exuberates is that the right word? It just comes out, you just feel it. It's just this sense and this feeling that when you all walk in a room or when you're at practice, like JP had this standard of excellence that everybody would achieve, their highest potential. And I just love that. And, it obviously played a role in my brother's life, but same with mine. Like Juliet being she was just a great teammate. She was fantastic. She was so kind. She led with compassion, just like you. She was steadfast in her faith. She was just a really good teammate. And then my brother would come home and he would bring JP's I mean, when I was a pole vault athlete, I had to lose weight for my pole. We couldn't like the high school, we wouldn't buy another pole. So I had to lose weight. And we had weigh-ins just like the wrestlers would. So my brother, he would have me in that front yard. I'd be running in my trash bag, spitting in my cup, like just like a wrestler would do. And Seth taught me how to cut weight. And he's like, you better put on your snow gloves. We're going on a run today. And I'm like, I'm a cheerleader. I don't even, like, so the things I did for pole vault, and Seth taught me uh, that mentality that if you want to be good, if you want to make weight, then this is what you got to do, And so yeah, intensity, but excellence, you gotta set that standard that all your team can reach excellence. And you guys did that just by like showing up. It wasn't even something that you said or did necessarily. It was just this like demeanor that you have when you walk in a room that like we're gonna achieve greatness today.
You're very kind.
It's a good
Thank
quality.
you. And I think that, Candy, you see this in the classroom, right? Your expectation is what those kids are going to want to achieve.
Right.
And so I like to use the example, although I'm not picking on any franchise of restaurant, but there's a difference when you walk into Chick-fil-A and then if you're walking into a different restaurant, right? And their standards different. And it's just like that in life. If we're going to make that standard higher, they're going to live up to that. And
right.
Going back to wrestling and what I watched my husband do over the years, those kids almost yearned and loved. And I'm sure you both can see that in coaching. They wanted that discipline. They wanted that standard.
Structure.
Yeah, they did. And so it's such a blessing now, years later, for those individuals to come back and say, wow, you really helped me through the hard times because of your expectation. And so you two are really just laying the groundwork for those young athletes to be able to do that in the future. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And Candy, you asked me the question earlier, like, what was a time? I don't know why I didn't say my Achilles, because I truly felt like that was the moment my world ended for a long, I mean, still, I feel like
I think I put you on a spot too.
You did.
Yeah.
But during that time, I mean, I really did. I don't know how many times I called you crying in tears, in person in tears. Like, I still feel like a part of me I'll never get back. My tumbling career has officially ended. That's really hard to accept. But as far as determination, I think also leaning on others to pick you up when you're feeling down. And, Candy, you've been a big part of that for me. So, relying that you can't always do it on your own, that sometimes we have a community, we have family, we have friends, we have a village that we really sometimes have to rely on. And being part of that village, it's also our jobs to step up when we see, someone struggling or, struggling to put that foot in front of. So how do we encourage each other, or how do we show up for each other is a big part of that determination.
Right. Right.
And when we do feel overwhelmed, how do we all, what do we personally do to stay centered and keep pushing?
Yeah.
Candy, like, what is your center space? Your zen?
My zen, well, it will always be Jesus, like always, church and always will be, that, my family, through the hard times with mom, you guys were always there. My church family, it always, when you have your close knit, that was definitely, you guys brought the excellence out of me. But, going back into the excellence and determination, I will have to say, your determination of of starting the whole entire thing. Once you get something started, there's no stopping you. And once Taylor gets a vision, you might as well just go ahead and prepare, because it's going to be great. And regardless if you're ready or not. So, Christy, if Taylor ever asks you and says, "Hey, Christy," just say, "Okay, Taylor, what do you want?" Yeah, just say, "Okay, Taylor, what do you want?" Okay.
Well, I do have a lot of ambition, but as one of my weaknesses, I will say that sometimes I get tunnel vision and finding a balance can be difficult. So, Candy, you're always reminding me, take a step back, be patient, it will come. So,
And you know what?
you try.
Over the years, I mean, I've seen you just work hard and that determination that you have. And you were a junior or senior maybe when Julie was a freshman.
A
And
junior, I think.
Julie had never flown before. And so they had some situations with the squad that year where, Julie, you're up. You're not a base anymore. And we're going to need you. And so Taylor comes in and says, listen, I'm going to be putting you up in the air. So you got to watch what you do. You got to be ready.
Did I say that?
And that played a part in Julie, just as far as Taylor told me I needed to be ready, and your work ethic traveled to the rest of that team, and they knew. She said, I'm going to do my part and bring it. You got to do your part and bring it.
Well, we did. We had extra practices. We met in the gym, just our stunt group. And I mean, I can't remember, but I feel like she stayed up. So we did a good job.
You did a good job. And
I don't,
so
yeah.
been shared with her, I want you sleeping in splits. Because again, she just wasn't used to
I would say that.
So she had a folding mat. She'd take it in her room. She just sat there for hours in this split because that's what Taylor told her to do. And so it was good times. And she still reflects back on that. And we kind of giggle and laugh. I stayed in that split as long as I could so I could be ready, So that's definitely great. Working hard. And that happened even at a young age with you.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. I feel like I've told some of my athletes that, like, if you guys are not working splits at home, then you're wasting your time, you're wasting your parents' money. If you're sitting on the couch watching TV, you might as well be in a split. I tell them that all the time.
Absolutely. While you're on your iPad, you better be in a split.
Yeah. So how do we take some of this passion and all of the, your leadership is so strong in the community. Like, what can we at Mountain State be teaching our kids? That one of our mottos is, that we want to extend beyond the mat. So yeah, coaching hard and having this sense of excellence in the gym is great, but also we really want it to reach outside of the gym. So, how can we be more involved in the community as a youth program?
Well, I think you guys are doing that, really. I mean, even this podcast that you're trying to engage not only your athletes, but your parents as well and share with them. And I'm sure that you have those, it's tough because you guys are coaching those young athletes for such an extended period of time. You don't really get to have all those interactions with parents like you'd like, but we live in a small area where you know everybody, right? And so your hard work and determination in the gym is going to reflect to those parents, and they're going to see that. They're going to see that hard work that their child's put in, and it'll just reflect back at home, I think, as well. And that standard will show at home.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's one of the reasons we did this podcast, was because, right now in the first few weeks, we're doing our fired up core values. And so it's a little more serious, but then coming up in the next few weeks, once we settle in and get kind of a foundation started, we have some really fun topics and some cheer specific topics, but some life topics, and we're going to laugh a little bit more, and it's going to be a little bit lighter. But to share those, those thoughts about why we do certain things at the gym the way we do them, or how we select our teams and different things that we can't always communicate with parents because our time is just so strapped when we're at the gym. It's hard to build those relationships. So we thought that this would be a good way to kind of, talk it over with everybody. And yeah.
it's great because it gives you a platform to be able to share those
Yeah.
issues and they can ask you questions. And so I think you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you. So let's talk a little more about excellence. Christy, I know you work, pretty closely with Brandon, right? You guys are in the like, you see each other a good bit. Do you see the value of him growing up with the foundation of like being an athlete in sports? Do you see that translate into his work as a parent? Has that been really fun for you? Like, tell me what you feel when you see him in a professional role.
Well, absolutely. I think that the skills that you're teaching in the gym and that just reflects back into your home life, right? And how you want to have that determination in the workforce, how you're going to raise your family, how you're going to show up when sometimes you just don't feel like it, right? I mean, sometimes we're tired and we don't feel like it. And you both have other jobs outside of this. And I'm sure there's days that you're tired and you have to bring that excitement in there because what you're bringing, and I think Candy alluded to this earlier, when you're bringing it in that room, and Taylor, you talked about this as well, it's going to trickle down to those cheerleaders and whoever you may be coaching. So just bringing that in there, and definitely it's been fun. And Candy and Taylor, you get to see this in a few years as your littles are growing up, and we're seeing it now to our grandchildren. It's so much fun to watch your children become adults and be parents to their children and see how that next generation is coming. And we want the next generation to be even better, right? And to do better at life. And so keeping Christ the center is definitely the focus, as Candy alluded to and what she shared in our family. We always want to keep Christ the center, and then everything else falls into place. So definitely hard work, determination is falling into place. Julia will often say, even being an athlete, has helped her to be a mom and to be able to handle situations as a stay-at-home
With
homestead mom.
discipline, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So kudos to my daughter and my daughter-in-law. You know, they're homeschooling, they're homesteaders, they're doing all the things, and they're awesome. And they both actually, Erica as well played softball in college, my daughter-in-law. So they're both just translating that hard work and determination, I believe, through their home life.
Yeah, I love that. And Julie, yeah, she is mom of the year to be homeschooling. I can't imagine. That's a
And
hat that I
smiling
don't
all the
see.
way through. Like
Oh,
she
she's
is
the
always
happiest,
smiling.
always smiling.
Always.
It's
Yeah.
great. A
And her
little
kids are always smiling too. I see them singing in church. They're so cute. So sweet.
and Julie in elementary school, one of her classmates told her, "You never smile when you look sad." And she came home that day and said, "I will never have anyone tell me that again." And so she smiled ever since. And
Oh my
it's the
goodness.
small things, that mean
Yeah.
so much and that translates. You never know what you say, and even to your
Yeah.
athletes, that can make an impact in years to come.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
she
so
didn't
true.
stop smiling because
Or stretching, I guess.
yes.
Well,
Probably helped her have those 3 C-sections in one birth.
There
yes,
you go.
exactly. Oh, go
Exactly.
Julie. Yeah, she is so happy and so sweet. Candy, you talked about, how God is always your center and how your relationship with God influences the way that you lead and the way that you coach. So, and definitely the way that you treat others. You're one of the kindest friends, but also you come to, the level of energy that Coach Candy brings to practice is like next level. So, talk to us a little bit about what that looks like. And yeah.
Well, I thought we were going to wait until next week. I didn't know we were going to do it this week, but I'm glad you asked. Um, well, honestly, that is what helps me get through. And I don't know how people do it without him. And honestly, that is where I find all of my joy, because if without him and dying on the cross, you know, finding that joy and having that faith, it's really hard to, I don't know how to really say it. When you go through a lot, you got to put your faith in something. And you can either go two ways. You can either go down the path of depression, or you can go down the path of happiness. There's two ways. And, I've always wanted to try to make people happy. And, I love to make people smile. And that's what I like to do.
And
And
you're really good at it.
growing up, there was always drama. My mom and dad were always going through, they were going through a divorce. And I can just remember, going through that and always having that balance of not having that in our home. And I had always told myself, I do not want that for my children. And I felt like I couldn't be myself. So growing up, I felt like I could finally be myself. And, God helped me through that. And through my children, through the industry, through cheerleading. And honestly, I think through God and through cheerleading, it really saved me and helped me really through it, because cheerleading was ultimately the one thing that I was really good at. And it helped me go through and help me, that was one thing that I could do and get away from life problems. And I appreciate that. And, going through, your whole entire life, I'm 40 years old, daggone it. You gotta, I can't do cheerleading now. I can coach it. But I did a toe touch one time and I was down for a month. So, but I just love to make people laugh, and I just like to try to bring the energy in the room, and I feel like I can finally be myself. And as you get older, I feel like that, I want to just share that joy and love that God has put in my heart. And I want it to be contagious and to share that hope that God has put into my life, because I just want to be a testimony for Him, and just to be a witness for Him. And I don't know, maybe Christy, you can add to that, because I see you being happy and always smiling too. So
She is. She's also a light. But
Well, I think
Candy, I think that I know that your faith is like your backbone, and it's definitely what you lean on. It's definitely your foundation to provide, to channel all of that energy into the gym to get our athletes to stay determined, to stay focused, and to achieve greatness. And without the light that shines from you, and without your voice when you come in. I mean, you have a beautiful voice too when you sing, but just the Coach
oh
Candy,
gosh.
Boone County proud, like loud energy. You're always encouraging the kids. You really are a light. You make us laugh. You make us smile. And so that your charisma really does help the kids reach their goals. You're always cheering them on. You're definitely the loudest in the gym without a microphone. Candy thinks she needs a microphone. She brought a microphone to the gym. Um,
I lose my
so
voice. I lose my voice.
so yeah, I mean, your energy does play a big part in our athletes and reaching their goals. But Christy, you're also always, always smiling. Every time I see you, you're such a light, such a joy. So how do you carry that with you in your different aspects of life?
Well, Candy, thanks for sharing your heart. I mean, that was beautiful testimony, and I'm just tearing up for you truly sharing what's on your heart. And I think it just goes back to what Andy said, right? It's Jesus. It's Jesus shining through. It's not me, it's Him. And I want more of Him every day and less of Christy, because Christy's just a bumbling, stumbling fool. Honestly, I mean, I'll tell individuals all the time I mess up before my feet hit the floor in the morning, and I get up every day. but it's Christ that truly helps to bring that joy and peace to others, that I want to be able to glorify him and show that to others, and less of me, because I screw up all the time.
We all do, right?
We all do.
We all do. But it's how we come back from it that, really matters. So, and Christy, you're all over West Virginia right now. So tell us a little bit about where you've been, where you're going, your fun projects, like what you've got going on, outside of, your like job as commissioner. I see you at schools. I see you at parks. Like, what are you up to?
We're doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Okay.
So, I think maybe I saw you at the gym a couple weeks ago, and you said, "Where are you going today?" You know, a lot of people think I'm working for the TV station. This is purely volunteer. So I'm just losing my mind maybe, but I was blessed to be able, last year about this time, I reached out to Lauren Winans from 304 Today and shared with her about maybe taking a dog out for an adoption and seeing if we could highlight a business here in Upshur County, because we love our community, and let's highlight a business and take an adoptable dog, because we had a new program in our animal shelter that was a rent a pet. And so she went for that idea and said, "I'd love for you to come." And no, and I'd love for you to come. And so it just spurred from there. And so I've been blessed to be able to go with Lauren and have that ability to be able to shine light on different businesses throughout the community, and to be able to highlight them and show adoptable pets, because who doesn't love our furry little animal pets, right? And then in doing that, the governor started his initiative when JFK came, about West Virginia getting healthy. And that just seemed a great platform for us to be able to continue. And so we started taking dogs to places and saying, "Hey, let's get healthy." And it got attention from the state when we did that. We've been able to sit down with them and have several conversations of how can we bring this into schools, because really, as you guys are seeing, our kids are on their devices too much, our kids are watching TV too much, and you guys are providing them an opportunity to not do those things, right? And we're trying to help that next generation. And I'm sure Candy fights this in the classroom all the time, being able to get these kids active. So we've been able to be blessed to go around to these schools with the support of the state government and just say, "Hey, we're just here to bring a light and say we are one of the most unhealthy states here in the United States, in West Virginia, and we want to change that." That really started about 1993-ish, 4-ish, and we really started a decline since then. So let's see if we can change the mindset. And the kids are loving it. We do chants with the kids and do military chants. We play games with kids, whatever we can think of, we will do with them. We do planks and holds with them and chin-ups. And it was so funny. A mom reached out to us last night and said, "The ladies in blue came to visit us, and we were so excited and had so much fun." And we have to be wearing blue that day. So we became the ladies in blue, I guess. And the kids just love that. They love to be able to give them a reason to move. And that's really what it's all about. And we want to be able to share, going back to that light, and that we want to share God's grace and love with them and give them hope and say, "Hey, you can change your mindset. You don't have to live in the mindset that you've had in the past, and let's eat better," right? We don't eat well. And so I had, about last year, had some blood work done with the Rotary just by chance. I never go to the doctor. It wasn't great, and it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. And so I then, a couple months later, I had got some more testing, and my husband said, "Look, if you want to get a trainer, you can get a trainer." And I'm like, you could be my trainer. He's like, "No, why don't you get a trainer?" And so she has been such a blessing to me and just giving me accountability. And so now I just had blood work again a year later, and my blood work is perfect.
Yay.
So although I love my doctors that I had, they were sharing that I don't know that exercise and eating well is great, but with what you've came back with, because I had some low numbers in thyroid and different things, I don't know if it's going to change that. So it did change that. So I truly believe that we can make a difference in our youth in order to share hard work, determination, eat good, let's get moving.
As I'm stuffing my face.
Like, hey, join us on your lunch. That's what we're
I
doing.
know.
My rice and chicken here.
There you go. Well, Carter, he's been talking about the Mountaineer Mile.
Yes.
They've been doing it at the middle school. And he was like, Mom, I don't think I'm doing the Mountaineer Mile today. Because he's doing he has wellness right now. So, he's pretty excited. They talk about how many miles they get in a day. And so they try to beat each other. So, yeah.
Yeah. Jenny Bennett had contacted us right before school started. And so that has trickled. We
Yeah.
have went dozens of schools since then. They keep calling and want us to come and just share with these kids how important it is. So it's just somebody different, sharing with them things that they already maybe know, but it's a fun way to do it. And hopefully it sticks with them.
Yeah, definitely. And I love, like, obviously, I think the obvious thing that you're doing is promoting health and wellness. And I love that. But I also feel like the secondary component of that, which I think I love even more, is like bringing the pride back to West Virginia and taking a stance saying, hey, we are one of the most beautiful states. We have the most compassionate communities. We have strong, healthy West Virginians. We can be stronger, we can be healthier, we can be even more beautiful when we come together and we set goals and we achieve those and we work together. We hold each other accountable. But I mean, community pride, county pride, West Virginia pride, nationwide pride, like I'm here for all of it.
Yeah.
So I really love that secondary component there that I feel like you are bringing like a sense of pride, something for people, like you said, everybody's on devices and there's so many either like fake news things that are drowning out the good or the bad and the ugly and even just I mean it's just all like it's so overwhelming to see something to see your light and to see you shining positivity in the communities and bringing some of that pride. Like I love that. I'm so grateful for that, and I love to see you out in the community like bringing smiles to other people, and yeah, sharing the health and wellness aspect. And then I think there's another component that that parents may not be aware of, but when you exercise your body, you're exercising your brain. And even my mom texted me, she's working at the private school at Buchanan Christian Academy, which my daughter just started going to this year. And so that was a big transition. And we're very lucky to have our Yaya there as well to help with that transition. Um, but she was practicing her spelling words no, she was practicing reading in my mom's room instead of going to recess. And my mom said, she texted me and she's like, Taylor, just so you know, Adelaide reads a lot better when she can do so walking. So maybe have her, when she's reading out loud, do it while she's walking. And, when I was the director at Mountain Cap, like we knew minds in motion are healthy minds, and kids learn when they're playing, kids learn when they're moving, and sometimes getting that rhythm with music or movement can really really help cognitively too. And so you're touching on a lot of things in the community that I think, and being a part of schools helping kids realize that is such a great thing. It's been fun
It's
to
been
watch.
it's been
Yeah.
fun. And so Superintendent Vincent over in Barber County had shared with us active students make better learners, just to go along with what you said. And he truly believes that. So we've been to several schools there in Barber County, and it has been a joy. We do have a little saying we like to say with the kids before we leave, which is a healthier, happier Mountaineer makes a stronger West Virginia. And that truly, like, what a beautiful state we have, right? We have the most beautiful parks, the most beautiful state. And let's get out and enjoy that, because instead of being lazy, we just became lazy, and let's go enjoy God's creation. My son-in-law and my grandchildren remind me of that all the time. They like to take the time to go and hike and just enjoy God's creation. So we definitely try to do that as a family as well.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I don't know that we have any watchers at this very moment, but I believe, Christy, it might be, do your grandkids have access to YouTube?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, I think WUUZZI. They've become a number one fan. We are getting lots of emojis. Lots of
Aw.
emojis in the comment section. I think they're really enjoying our show. And I'm not sure if it's one of your grandkids, but it might be. We have 4 watching, so I'm going to invite those who are watching to comment your favorite place in West Virginia to hike, to walk. It can be local, it can be a state park. Just let us know your favorite place to get active and get moving, and I'll share those with the audience here in just a few moments. We'll give them time to share their thoughts or any other thoughts relating to our topics today on determination and excellence. We'd love to hear some feedback. So I'll give you a few moments in the chat box and then we'll go over those together. While we wait, Candy, you mentioned when you were talking about excellence that it's not just about, making sure that we hit those big milestones. It's not about winning the trophy, but it's really about measuring our progress in between, showing up every day, and showing growth. And so, talk to me a little bit about what that looks like in your classroom versus like at the gym. You're a teacher and like that's your real life. So tell me, what does that look like?
So I'm in the in-school suspension classroom. And so I feel like for my position, it's very important to be present every day and to be consistent because the teachers especially rely on me to be there because of the expectations. Um, they need a consistent um, plan for if they have to exclude or if they need help, um, or if there's any situation that arises, or, if anybody, the principals, um, if they have an issue with a student or anything. Or if a student needs assistance with, and they don't have to be in trouble if they're having a bad day or anything. Um, I just feel like that me as my role of being the in-school suspension teacher, it's very important for me to be consistent and, if I miss here and there, they, I think I'm afraid to miss because there's a certain expectation and there's a certain way I do things. They come in, they have to fill out a paper, a reflection paper, and it's about, when they come in, it's not me lecturing them, it's, them reflecting on what had happened. So it's just things that um, I think it's, in between, of that.
Well, I think that your job obviously would be very challenging when we think of it as like, obviously kids who are coming to in school either are coming there because maybe they're struggling with their grades or assignments or they're
Right.
struggling with
Right.
behaviors. And so, at that point, you're in a very unique opportunity or a very unique position to really step in and engage with them on a more
Right.
personal level and like offer them that chance to reset and to
Right.
restart and to
Right.
grow. And so, I mean, thank goodness that we have you in that position because you're
Yeah.
just the right person. And I've told you that, like, there's, you get through to people. You're so relatable and you really don't, like, there's not much judgment. You're not like, the kids who come in your class. Oftentimes, I feel like when I was in school, maybe we were like, not I didn't go to in school, thank goodness. But if I had, like, there was like this label of being bad or, or
Yeah.
whatever. And I've never, ever heard even that word come out of your mouth when talking about anything. Like you're never going to label a child or think poorly of a child. Like you're always going to just offer them a chance to be better, do better, and then motivate them to do that. And so I
I
love
had
that you're in that
a I
position.
had a child one time just remove themselves and say, Mrs. Plymell, I had to remove myself and I just needed a minute. I didn't get in trouble. I just had to remove myself. And well, that's a great decision because I'm glad that you removed yourself before you made a bad decision. And I was like, well, how do I respond to this? Because I was like, well, that's a great decision because I thought that was a good decision because they
Yeah.
removed themselves before they made a bad decision. So I couldn't get mad.
I
So
could see that becoming a crutch though. Your kindness and compassion. Like, do you ever feel like maybe you're taken advantage of? Like, okay, guys,
no,
no? Okay,
no,
good.
because they know that if they take advantage of, I won't let them back in. I won't let them
Set
back in.
expectations.
Yeah.
So they know that expectation. So, and then, I've had a couple people say, I like to come in because it's very calm. And so they enjoy the calmness. And when teachers say, well, they enjoy coming to your room and I said, well, because why? And it's because of the calmness. So, you know, there's a balance
Yeah.
between that. So,
And yeah, growing up in public school, I can understand the chaos versus the
yeah,
calm. There's just a lot of people,
yeah.
and that's nothing against any other teacher. It's hard to keep a calm room in a packed school building.
And,
So
it depends on the day. I have, we have days that we have a good day or a bad day, and it just determines on the day. I mean, that's like our athletes. They might be having a bad day or a good day. I mean, it just kind of depends on the day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I'm going to dive into these comments. I think we've got a couple comments. Christy, where's your most loyal place to walk? And then where's your favorite place to walk? Because sometimes those are different.
Well, I think that really we live up here on a farm. And so that is my favorite place to walk. I try to get so many steps in every day. And so sometimes if you see me at the gym, I'm getting those steps in between. So loyal might be in between my sets. It might be I'm parking farther away when I have meetings and making that trip a little bit farther, parking at the end of the Walmart parking lot, wherever it may be. So I try to be mindful there. But I love being able to take walks on the farm that we have here, especially with the grandkids, and they believe it's an adventure for them. So even the smallest walk on the farm in the woods, they love it because it reminds me, Nana, look at this. This is the coolest caterpillar. So no matter how small, they
Christy,
remind me.
I'm laughing so hard because I'm just getting flashbacks. And Candy, I think I sent you these pictures, but at some point you made me t-shirts and I went to your farm to pick them up, your house to pick them up.
Oh yeah, you
And
got lost in the middle of nowhere.
I about hit a cow. There was a whole cow in front of me. And then I got
Right?
stuck
It
in a
says, "Do you
snowstorm.
have a cow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we have cows." And she's like, but it's
It's in
right
the
here.
road.
That's
I
not
like
our cow.
sent the picture. You're like, I don't know where you are. I was lost, not even close to her house. I'm like, this is a next level farm. Like, I'm just driving down the road and cow right there in the middle of the road. And then I ended up on this like a river road, high centered on a tree.
I don't know where it
I can't, I
was.
had to back out like a mile. It was not good. And then I found her house and I was like, wow, it's been right here the whole time. Like, she lives, yeah,
Not
not
far
far.
from each other.
Yeah, not far. Candy, where's your favorite place to walk?
my favorite place to walk, gosh, I would say the river walk.
Yeah,
I really like to walk on the river walk.
I do too. I love the Riverwalk. I mainly because it's flat.
Yes.
I like to take advantage of the flatness. Like,
I like
I
to
feel
do
like a
like the
lot of
eight,
our, yeah,
like the eight.
it really doesn't get old either. Like, I can run that, and I'm sure a lot of people might get tired of like the same thing, but that does not bother me. Like, it almost provides me comfort because I know I can almost measure the steps. I'm like, 75 more steps and I'll be done. One,
Well,
two,
when Bill
three.
and I first, like we first met, Bill lived on Wood Street, so we would walk over,
Yeah.
and we had bikes, and we would ride bikes over, and then we would ride bikes on the river walk. So
Well,
I
I'm
enjoy
looking
that.
forward. Yeah, I think I'm going to start mountain biking with like electrical mountain bikes. I'm looking forward to that. All right, let's see. Mitchell Shaw and Jerissa are two.
They're
So
faithful.
so I think that Christy, your grandchild is our number one fan at this point. Mitchell's number two and Jerissa's number three. So we've got some loyal fans here.
They are loyal fans.
They are
Mitch
loyal.
and Doris are.
Yes. Hello, ladies. Our family enjoys hiking and seeing the waterfalls around and near Holly River. Beautiful.
I do love Holly River.
Yeah. And I think that they camp there a lot too.
We have such beautiful waterfalls in the state.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
well, when
then,
you about the kids being on YouTube, I mean, they can get on YouTube, but they're not going to be on YouTube right now. So I don't know who your number one fan is.
well, maybe we're getting scammed. I don't know. But it's a little Spider-Man as the profile picture. And we've got like American flags and we've got crosses and the lion and
It better not be our cheerleaders. They better be at school. I'll tell you that.
yeah, I don't know. Let's get fired up, Jerissa. Where's your favorite place to walk? She's commenting, but she didn't say. And then Mitchell's laughing at my direction giving skills. And he's not surprised at all that I got lost. Jerissa seconds that. She says, let's get fired up. We're fired up. We're going to keep this energy strong. So, to talk a little bit more about this podcast as we wrap up today, we have already covered our fired up. So the F was for friendships, respect, integrity. I spelled that wrong. Friendships, integrity, respect, excellence, determination. So we still have unity and positivity to cover in the coming weeks. I do have an open spot next week. If anyone has any ideas of who we can invite to this lovely podcast to discuss unity, we do have an open spot. It's every Wednesday at 11:45. We try to stick right at an hour long. So we get you in and we get you out really quick. We try to do it on your lunch break so that it's not too cumbersome on your work schedule. But we would love to have a guest to join us next week. If you're interested, please send us a message and we can talk to you about what that looks like. And yeah, so any suggestions, we'll take those as well. And then in the week after that, we have my cousin Amanda Shea, who was a Division I athlete, and she lives in Florida. She's going to talk about positivity. She's also a cycle bar instructor, so she coaches multiple classes a day. Coaching adults on cycling. So that will be fun, and I'm excited to have her join us. Christy or Candy, do you have any last minute thoughts on today's topics before we wrap up?
How many steps do you get, Christy, a day?
So,
It's gonna be embarrassing.
no, it's not going to be embarrassing. So Valerie DeVito has been my trainer, and so I don't actually meet with Valerie. I check in with her on the weekends, and I have a day I check in with her. So she
If you don't mind me asking, sorry, I should not be like, okay.
No, I don't mind you asking. And so it depends on the week and what we're working on. So this week she's got me on 12,000 steps most days. And so it's been upwards to 15 maybe on certain weeks. So it really just depends on the week. So it's 12,000 on non-lift days and 8 actually, which is, pretty doable on lifting days. So that's my week this week. Sometimes it fluctuates to 10 and 15. So it just depends.
And Valerie's out of Morgantown?
Valerie's out of Morgantown. And so she'll send me what to eat, my workout plan, how many steps to get, what vitamins to take. So she's became my bestie, helping me through this. So, yeah.
And you've been with her for like a year or?
I have been with her for 27 weeks. And she is a nurse at Ruby. And she's taking clients. So if anyone's interested, I can always send you her stuff. But she also is a bodybuilder. And so she looks wonderful. And I just happened to come across her and she's just been a blessing.
Yeah.
Well, you look great.
You do.
Yeah.
You should see her doing pull-ups in the gym. I'm like,
okay.
Oh yeah.
Taylor used to be doing muscle ups at the gym.
Not anymore, Christy.
Be in awe of her doing
She'll be,
muscle.
yeah, well, that's awesome.
Look, she goes, what's your goals? And I said, I want to be in the best shape of my life before I'm 50. And I really want to be able to keep up with my 6 grandchildren. So that's kind of been my, focus.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get there. You've been doing great. Good job.
That's
Keep
awesome.
it up. Yeah, it
And as
is.
far as determination, I know you're finishing up here. I know sometimes it's hard as parents and coaches to bring that, right? And so you're tired and you don't feel like going to the gym, but it all goes back to what you both discussed earlier, your attitude and your energy and your focus on Jesus. Really, for me, that's what helps to bring that, and having that mindset of this is what I'm going to do before you step through that door. This is what's going to happen today, and have a plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. And I was actually just about to say excellence is a choice and determination is a commitment. And so that's what I just kind of want to leave everyone with after our discussion today is making sure that we're making that choice to achieve at the highest level that we possibly can, and that we're committing to ourselves, that we're making a commitment to ourselves to that achievement and to that excellence, and that we're pushing ourselves every day, and that we keep showing up and that we keep doing the work, and that we see the growth and see the progress every day rather than just the end goal, because sometimes we get lost or we'll give up if that's the only thing we're doing to keep track or monitoring our progress, and believe in ourselves and believe in each other and lift each other up when needed and hold each other accountable. So these are all things that when these things happen, greatness happens, and we're all here for that, and our community and our pride. And so, yeah. And thank you so much, Christy, for joining us, for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Yes.
You're such a light in our community, and
Yes, yes, yes.
it's been so fun. I'm excited to watch
Yes.
what you have next. Do you mind telling us where we can find? I know you said you have a podcast coming up again. Tell us about that real quick.
I do. It is the middle of November. We're going to be on, I believe it's called, I can give you the link to put, Almost Heaven, Always Us, I believe what it is called, a husband and wife. So you can see us on that podcast coming up, and then just be looking on socials. I'm sure you'll
I
see
love
us
it.
our next location soon.
We will be watching. We'll be watching. And if you will send me that link, I'll share it in the comments. That way any of our viewers can watch as well. Or if you share information about it, we'll share it to the public, and we'll get you some viewers on there, hopefully. So just let
Yay,
us
thank
know.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
So
you
that
guys.
wraps up our podcast today. If you have not yet liked and subscribed, please do so. Every like, every subscribe, every comment really helps, create our vision for what's next and keeps us going. So please, if you haven't been active, feel free to get active and get engaged on our social media accounts. We really appreciate it. It's one way that you can show support at no cost to you. It just takes a quick second to hit that button. And until next time, stay fired up, stay faithful, and as always, shine bright through the Mountain State. So we'll
Bye.